4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
If you have any poo, fling it now.
Let's bow our heads and pray for the soup sandwich, because today I'm pretty sure we're gonna get into trouble. I don't know why I think that, but we're gonna get in trouble because I had a hard night last night. I couldn't sleep right. I got up at 3 a.m. and just my thoughts were all over the place. But I kept thinking about, where's the sun? Why is the sun gone away? And I was like, come 6 a.m., it dawned on me.
Oh boy.
Now I might not get into trouble, but
Gotcha.
our topic today is
Gotcha.
ER Backstage, saving lives, sex scandals, and foreign objects. And I give full credit to Jenny for coming up with this topic, bringing the material out here, because you yourself have a lot of experience and knowledge of stuff that went on, hanky-panky, freaky-deaky, wrong, corruption. I mean, everything. You've seen a lot of these things going on behind the scenes and open doors, if you will. Yes. So I'm glad you brought up this idea, because a lot of stuff going on here. So to give everybody an idea, you actually were you say nurse tech or hospital tech? Is that what your job was?
I was an emergency room technician. So what I did was I would put IVs in, draw blood, do EKGs. I'd be in the trauma room doing CPR, saving lives. I was just part of the team, you know. I would help out the nurses.
So you got
whatever.
free room.
Yeah, helping out.
Free room around the house.
So I was exposed to everything. There was nothing that I wasn't not exposed to. Yeah.
Now as I said off air, you didn't see everything, but there's pretty sure you've seen a lot of things. Because I'm pretty sure there's some stuff that went on that you didn't want to see, that people did, that I'm pretty sure people talked about, but you didn't see. But other than that, working in the ER, it's the idea someone comes in injured or ill or, in a bad way, and their job is to bring up help and medical attention, right? Is that what is going on?
Yep, that's what's going on.
Like I said, I've seen a lot of these shows that had ER mishaps, emergencies, where people had like different parts of them and didn't feel any pain. And you showed one. Let me bring this up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Share screen. Let me see if I can do this right. Yep, there we go. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. There we go. All right. You brought this up. And it says Minnesota carpenter survives nail gun shot to the heart. Minnesota carpenter Eugene Rocco has a second shot at life after he literally took a shot in the heart. Rocco of Minnesota is recovering from accidentally shooting a 3.5-inch nail into his chest that came within 2 millimeters of his coronary artery.
Look at that X-ray. Look at that.
Yeah, look at the X-ray. It says the harrowing incident unfolded Friday while the repairman was doing he's working in his own yard, and he kicked back and the spike went to his chest. And he was quoted by saying, "It came down and boom, right into my chest." Now it's hard to catch my breath. But you look at that photo there. I don't know if I see the circling. That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
But inches away from his heart, centimeters away from it. Like, if you see that, like, I've seen stuff like that.
Yeah, they said, so I mean,
foreign objects.
With your own personal experiences, what was the most traumatizing thing you seen that someone come through that was actually pierced them?
The most traumatizing thing, for something that pierced them.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. The woman that, she lost her arm, but no, that was a car accident. Her arm came before her.
Okay. Stuff like that. So, chainsaw accidents, axes.
Limbs. So people, cutting off limbs, because that was like minor stuff. I was thinking major stuff, and I'm trying to think of the minor stuff because I've seen so much.
Yeah.
But
now you have piqued my interest, so I got to ask. The arm showed up before the body did.
Yes.
Before the patient did it. What was your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, they brought the arm to the wrong hospital because we didn't handle that stuff. They had to go to Stony Brook Hospital on Long Island. Okay. So
no pun intended.
So the arm wasn't even supposed to come to our hospital. It was supposed to go to Stony Brook. Okay. But we got her arm.
Go ahead.
So what did you want to know about the arm?
No.
We sent it back. The ambulance brought it took the arm in the cooler. There was in a cooler and brought it back to where it's supposed to be at. But
where was the patient at?
The patient was on the ambulance on her way to us, to our ER. But then because of the severity of her trauma, she had to go to Stony Brook because they were a better hospital for that, to handle that. They were a level 1 trauma center. We were a level 2 trauma center. So we don't handle go ahead. No, I want to hear this. Go, get you cracking the fuck up. I got to hear this.
No. I'm trying not to laugh because I'm trying to I'm trying to ask a legitimate question. So basically, the patient was en route to your hospital along with the appendage, but
no, the appendage was separate.
I know, but I'm saying, but they were both en route to your area because the patient was there en route to your. So they got rerouted to another hospital, and no one gave the memo to the person carrying the arm.
No, I guess they didn't see him wave. You know, they didn't.
Hey, they went the other way.
But in all, the sad part was the story. They couldn't save her arm, so she ended up losing it. She was on the cell phone while she was driving, and which was illegal anyway, and she got into an accident, and that's how she lost her arm. That way, being on the phone.
I got a buddy of mine. He's an amputee. He's only now he's about 23, but it happened when he was 17 years old. Him and his friends were at a gas station, and you know the little like yellow pylons by the gas pumps? The little concrete pylons. Well, the car had pulled too much forward, so they couldn't get the gas pump into the thing. So he was on the other side of the car, reaching over the car, and they backed up the car, and got wedged between the pylon and his car, and that's how he lost his arm. So I'm like, yeah, but I didn't see the accident happen. All I saw was months later when he came out of the hospital, no arm. But he never let it affect him as a person, whatever. For a while, trying to figure these things out, but he still managed his life. But I can imagine this lady here. They could have probably, if I'm asking the right question, they probably could have saved her arm if they would have arrived at the same hospital at the same time. Right.
It was quicker.
So the idea was miscommunication on routing the appendage back to the original, or to the new destination, if you will. So the miscommunications is what caused too much time in between two, or was there too much damage done to reattach the arm, or what was the case?
It would be not enough time. I guess it was, or maybe the nerves, they couldn't reattach the nerves. Maybe the arm was going to be dead. It just wasn't going to take. Just didn't work out, And then we've had gunshot wounds. You asked me before about like the most like penetration traumas that we've had in. I don't know if gunshot wounds, if that's what you think it is, but I have seen really bad traumatic gunshots. People did not make it. I've had to put people in body bags. I've had to take children to the morgue. I've had to do a lot. So, like when I say I've seen everything, I've seen just about everything you can possibly say that can come in the 10 years that I've worked there. And if I didn't see it, like you said before, somebody else that I worked with saw it in the past and shared their stories with me. So I'm aware of what else. So when I see these TV shows, on TV, like Real Lives of the ER, some of them, yes, it's real. Yeah. It's real shit. But then when you see those shows like Grey's Anatomy and House, they're throwing out like, oh, do a CBC, CMP, throw a line and put a 20 gauge in the AC and blah, 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 double bore. And they're talking in medical language. It's like, you just did that all backwards. Like, that's what, I don't watch those shows because it's not real. They're not, you know what I mean? But I do.
Where's George Clooney when you need him?
Yes. But I do like, sex brought me to the ER. Sex sent me to the ER. I think we have a clip of that, right?
Oh yeah, that's going to be one of our main things. Like I said.
So you want to save that part for the end? Do you want to save that part?
No, it's not for the end. Let's see what I have here. Now
I don't want to go out of place here,
So, no, yeah. So a lot of things happen traumatically going into the ER, but also now while you're actually in the hospital or in the ER with patients and all that, have you ever witnessed anybody being mean to a patient?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But I've seen
Firsthand,
patients. Yes, I've been mean to patients before.
Go ahead.
Because they've kicked me in the chest. They've slapped me across my face. They spit in my face. And they grabbed my boob. They tried to smack my ass. They groped me. And I would smack them. I would smack them because you put your hand on me, first of all. And I have every right to defend myself. And I would be like, this ain't a fucking date. Keep your hands off of me. That's what I used to tell them. And because we didn't put up with that shit. You have to have tough skin working in the ER. And we would get some assholes in. We would get some real mean assholes in. And they would come in and fuck you, blah, 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 spit on us, where we'd have to put a net over their head. We'd have to 4-point them and tie them down because they're animals. I'm telling you, you don't know what the fuck I went through.
Yeah, Con Air shit going on here.
I put an IV in this guy, right? He had a machete on him. Machete. He could have whipped it out and fucking stabbed me. He was homicidal too. That's what he came in for. He was homicidal. Like,
gotta ask.
Yeah.
Why did they allow him to bring a weapon on the gurney?
They didn't know. It was in his genes. They didn't know until we made him strip naked. And listen to this. The guy brought a steak with him, a raw fucking steak. So he made a deal. He goes, if you cook the steak for me, I'll take my clothes off and I'll comply with you and I won't hurt anybody. I swear to God, this is, you can't make this shit up. You cannot. So when he stripped himself, I don't know what deal he made and who agreed to fucking cook for him downstairs in the cafeteria. But when they stripped him, he had a machete down his pant leg. And that was after I was already in there.
So they actually cooked a steak for him.
I honestly don't know because I left. My shift was almost over after all the hoo-ha was over. So I don't know what happened. And when I came back, I didn't bother asking because, whenever something happened, you just forgot about it, got up and just came the next day because there was so much other shit going on, like new stuff that was happening that you didn't have time to think of what happened the night before, unless it was like real good, like on TV shit. Like I've been on like TV when the news come, if like murders or somebody got shot or hit or whatever, bad accident, and they came to our hospital, the news would be there right away,
Right.
And
the chasers.
Yeah, the oh yeah, them too. Fuck yeah. But
all right. No,
it's crazy. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Andy.
No,
sorry,
The
Red.
reason why I ask you that is because using my government name. No, the reason I ask you that is because you did bring up this one also.
Yes, but yeah,
we're not going to show the whole clip, but basically, it's an ER doctor caught on video cursing out patient is suspended. So now you said there were actually times where it was called for to retaliate against an unruly patient or someone being angry or handsy or just being a complete asshole. So
to a certain extent, yeah,
that's what I'm at. I'm saying, is there actually any justification for any time a doctor can actually be mean to a patient that's uncalled for? Have you ever seen anything like that?
No, I have not. I cannot say that I have seen doctors. I've never seen an unprofessional doctor curse a patient out if they weren't, rude and nasty, if they had no other choice but to get their attention and get them to calm down, but not intentionally. They would never, ethics. That's part of being in healthcare.
Gotcha.
So,
I'm curious about that myself because I don't go to the ER doctor. I've been like once or twice in my life, but
yeah.
So if a patient is in a room behind the curtain, whatever, and and they feel they're being mistreated, how can they actually prove that they're being mistreated? Because it's their word against the hospitals.
Well, I guess they would have to have a witness, give an example. They probably have to, video, somebody could be walking by. There's a little space in between that the curtain might not have been closed right. They could have seen something walking by. You have to, ask, did you see anything, and then take it from there, So if they were hit and there's a bruise, they could say, oh, I was hit. They gave it to me. Well, there's evidence, but now it's her word against his, you know what I'm saying? So I never, again, if something did transpire like that, we didn't get in the middle of it because we walked past and let management handle that. You know what I mean? We would just, okay, how do we handle this? Give it to management. Okay, next life we have to save. That's how it was.
All right. So now life wasn't always bad in the ER for you or for anybody because you shared some other things. And I've seen and heard a lot of these stories myself. Different objects, different things, different orifices, sometimes the same orifice, whatever. But got to bring this one up because you're awesome. You're awesome. Let's see. There we go. Man suffering from constipation had a vibrator stuck inside of him. And you can see the X-ray.
This. See it.
You see the X-ray. Now, okay, you've been around a lot of X-rays, right? So I want to ask this question here because the way it's looking here is at an angle. So is that the actual backside here?
Well, they have it in backwards.
The anus?
Sometimes they'll put them in backwards. I don't know why, but we've had patients bring them in backwards. And how you could tell is, can you see Energizer or Ever Ready or any battery? Usually you could tell by the writing on the battery which direction that's going if it's inserted the right way.
I think the bottom part is the insertion. But what I'm asking about the X-ray is because I see the pelvis.
Yeah.
So I'm like when the X-ray comes up, it's not actually looking directly at it going in. It's actually looking at it from the side, so you get the idea of it going into the cavity. Is that what I'm looking at?
It's stuck in the intestine, is what it is. So now that has to get surgically removed.
So all right. Made it all the way
your
up
asshole.
there.
Let me tell you something. Do you know your asshole works like a vacuum? So if you put something up your ass, whether it be a gerbil, because I've seen that, the zucchini, a vegetable.
Richard Gere,
Richard Gere. I've seen this. Vibrators. Okay, when you put that
toys,
stuff up,
remote control, cell phone,
anything, cold cream jars, bobby pins. Oh, we've seen, you name it, we've seen it. So you put it up, all right?
Okay.
It goes, if it's too far up in the anal cavity, it sucks it up and it doesn't come back out. You could try to push a shit out all you want. It ain't going to come out. It's stuck. So guess what? You're going to the the OR. Because so now we're prepping you to go to the OR. But sometimes the vibrator is still going. They cannot operate while the vibrator is going because it'll slip the instruments. So we have to wait. We have to wait for the vibrator to stop. The batteries have to go dead.
For the battery to die out.
Then they could go to the OR. Kid you not.
I can see the commercial for the little bunny rabbit. Keeps going and going and going and going.
Yeah.
The copper top stuck in my bottom part. So
most of
let me ask this question again, because you've seen a lot of this shit in your lifetime. What was the strangest thing you ever seen someone put inside of them?
Bobby pins. Wait,
like the actual were they?
Yeah, it was an old lady. She had dementia. She had an itchy ass. She had an anal itch, and she couldn't get to it, so she used the bobby pins. But they got again stuck up in there, so they were sucked up into the hole. I told you never trust the hole, Andy, and I told you that.
Open or closed? Open or closed?
They were closed.
Bobby pins when they open.
They were closed. So in the X-ray, it looked like they were just all over the place, like just floating around. Like
there was more than one.
Yeah, there was like 5 of them in there.
She was trying to make a quilt. Do some patchwork.
No, she was patting down her anal hair.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Now I remember you telling me about you don't trust the whole thing, and I told you, like I told you before, I've been told all my life, don't eat hot dogs, don't eat bologna because it's processed meat. It's got 1,000 beta parts and all that shit. Don't eat. I was like, listen to that motherfucker. I done seen a human body come out of a hoo-ha and I still put my mouth on it. So don't tell me about now eating the fucking hot dog.
Right?
There's some
Right?
holes you can trust, but I do understand your point. Don't trust the hole. There's some holes I can trust, but at the same time, they'll talk shit to you.
Then we had this patient.
So Bobby,
go ahead, the bobby pins. Let's talk.
Ahead.
No, I want to
saying,
finish talking about the bobby pins.
I'd be curious. When I say weirdest thing, I'd be thinking, remote control, baseball bat, alligator, snake, barbed wire fence, another person,
Yeah, you never know.
Talk about that. No, I'm saying you said the bobby pins was the strangest thing you've seen, and I'm like, that just seems kind of like really
weird. Now, what about a cold cream jar?
It's funny walked in with the Alec. Well, no, yeah, I see.
A Dove cold Pond's cold cream. Is that what it is? That's what it was.
Yeah, now I'm curious about that one because I understand that women like to masturbate, men like to masturbate with certain objects and all that shit. But now I can understand a tube of something like this right here, blah blah blah. But if you get something like this big around, why are you even trying to put that up in there?
Right. And what are you using as lube? Because that shit is just not going to go in like that.
The cold cream.
Oh,
you smother the outside. You gotta screw it up and smother around, screw it back on, and blah. But so I really want to have a conversation one day about things we put in our body for sexual pleasure. I really want to talk because I'm curious. I'm saying one time down the road, but I'm curious why you put something that big inside of you. I'm like, is there really that much pleasure from stretching out or whatever? But
they sell
not gonna get into that right now.
They sell those big.
I know, even
dildos.
Walmart.
Yes,
even Walmart sells them. Go buy you one at Walmart. If you can't buy a fucking dildo, go get your hairbrush. Everybody using them. It's been going on since I was a kid. Since I was about 12 years old, and I learned about masturbation. Just don't plug them up.
No.
Just don't plug them up. Don't plug them up. And I know it's the 21st century. I know that y'all are smarter than I am. At least I hope you're smarter than I am. I'm letting you know right now from personal experience. Never use icy hot on your Peter and put it into your vagina. Don't do it.
No, don't do it.
Don't do it. No, don't do it.
No.
So
I never had that on me.
No. That's a no.
Listen, I put Bengay on my ex-husband's balls because he cheated on me one night. He took a shower. It didn't even take it off or help. He was on fire. I was the best ever. I was like, let me rub your balls, hon. Put that Bengay on it. Yeah.
But I'm the asshole. I'm the asshole. So now, so I'm back to the insertion thing on the ER. So bobby pins was your strangest thing you saw. Wow.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I mean, I've heard stories about like say remote control, cell phones, toys, stuff like that. Animals. Yeah. I mean, animals themselves. I understand the concept behind it because it's a moving creature. Like I know the octopus is a masturbation tool right now they use over in Asia, and it's a big, huge thing to masturbate with an octopus.
We definitely have to have a show on masturbation and dildos. We have
There's a lady down in Florida. There's a lady down in Florida that used a live lobster, and died from that. But that's another story. You look at shock now, but it's
Oh yeah, we're doing it.
We're
doing another story late at another time. Yeah.
Well, we're on the ER. So let's talk about insertions and sexual pleasures down the line because I'm curious myself.
Yep.
So, but not everything was. Well, I guess it was all bad, if you will. But it wasn't. I mean, did you use anything traumatic with things being lodged? Like anybody actually dying from these things?
I've seen people die.
From
about
the
logic. Sometimes they.
Yeah, logic.
I've never seen that, but there could be a complication during the surgery. It could be lodged up so much that it could cut off an artery. You don't know. Like anything could be possible while that
puncture
still vibrating. Right, you could puncture an intestine, puncture something. You don't know. And while that thing is still fucking going down the friggin' anal canal, it's still moving, so you don't know where it's gonna fucking end up, you know?
But that's why I'm laughing so hard now, because the one thing you shared with us was called the 6 fails of the untold stories. And I'm like, the first thing they showed on there was basically the same scenario. Someone got something lodged in their butt, and the doctor went to listen to it. He put his, say what?
Go ahead.
I'm not even going to do that. I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to let everybody else see it, because why give it away? Why give it away?
Yes.
All right. So let's get on this then.
Help me, doctor.
Well, when you walk into a room and you see a gentleman on a stretcher lying flat, and the most prominent thing is sort of standing at attention between his legs, it's a little bit concerning.
Help me, doctor. You gotta fix this. I can't take it.
We'll have to use a needle to drain the blood.
You're gonna put a needle in my penis?
We'll put you out first. Don't worry.
The patient had quite a look of shock on his face. I'm not so sure it was as shocking as seeing his wife and his mistress in the same room.
I've seen that before. I've seen that shit
He
before.
says to me, "I've got a vibrator in my."
How did this?
I don't know. What do you mean?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. Just take it out quietly.
The patient certainly was in some underlying pain. I mean, it's an uncomfortable feeling because it's.
I'm pausing it right there because that's why I'm cracking up, because he don't have. Hold on, he don't have the stethoscope checking it out. He got his head down there.
Right.
He got it right on the jump. And I cannot imagine any doctor in the world trying to hear a sound inside your body by putting his ear to it, or get that old cup.
Yeah, right.
But so let me let this play a little bit.
It's not a natural foreign body to be having it in your rectum. It may
That's
not
not
be
his
that
rectum
easy.
either.
I think it stopped.
I know.
Oh, my dog, there it goes again.
Unless it's really
I'm
up
going to
there.
start by
this
seeing if
canal.
I can locate it. I want you to lie on your
Aw.
side, facing away
Aw.
from me. You know, this would be a good time for you to tell me if any other surprises down there.
Oh my god. Oh
You
shit.
say it's a stove stuck on his penis.
Yeah, a camping stove.
Okay.
Look at this.
How did this
Oh.
happen?
You need to give the doctor a little more information than you gave me.
Jeannie and I went camping for the weekend. We were drinking and smoking some weed. The stove had a knob missing. So Jeannie said, why don't you put it in there now?
We get it.
And for reasons that are still unclear today, the girlfriend said, why don't you put your penis in that hole and I'll get up under the stove and perform oral sex. And of course, the guy says, okay.
Then I couldn't get it out.
It's been the downfall of many a great man.
Oh.
All right. So looking at those right there, I'm just curious. Has everybody ever admitted to why they had something up there?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard anything like that? Really admitted to why they had it up there?
Yeah, they saw it. They wanted to try it out. Was one of them. Usually they go, I don't know how it got there, but we had an interesting scenario. A couple came in, and the husband was like, I think I don't know, they were fooling around. They said that they were horny and they were really detailed about it, but they wanted to shove a broomstick up the wife's ass. So supposedly she goes, I think that the handle broke and I have a piece of the broomstick stuck in my ass. So the doctor was like, all right, we'll do x-rays. We'll check and see if it's in there. We'll see the location of it, this, that, and everything else. So at the end of the story here, I'm just going to get to the end of the story. They came in
Was
as
it
a
a Quidditch
fantasy. it was a fucking fantasy of theirs to have a doctor go in and play with her asshole and the husband watches. So they made the story up.
Wow, that's awesome.
The doctor wanted to press harassment charges against the patient because he was like, do you realize the trouble I could have got into? You know what I mean? But because they straight out at the end told him that they just wanted to do this for pleasure, he was like, get the fuck out. I mean, he didn't say that, but he was like, you need to leave. You need to leave. You need to leave right now.
Wow.
And then he had to document in detail. So it's in the charts. Everything that happened is detailed in the charts. So if you missed something and you were like, if you took care of that patient, you had access to go into their chart. If you didn't, it's HIPAA. You can't. So if you were lucky enough to see, you'd go in and read the notes and you just sit there and laugh because they're word for word exactly what happened. And it's like, oh, it's like, you know, in somebody's chart. So this woman has in her chart that she came to the ER to get pleasure having a doctor do that. That was their fantasy. Yeah.
I'm curious about that. If that actually happened, different places, different, you know, around the world, different states. So I mean, different. So I'm actually wondering if that actually is a sexual fantasy for a lot. That's pretty interesting right there. It's something we need to think about later on down the line because, you know, there's the whole idea of the cuckold, you know, the man wants to watch her wife have sex or whatever and stuff like that. So, but to actually want to watch a doctor perform, you know, tinkering around with the toy box.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
that's a little.
He had to stick his finger in there to see if it was stuck. And meanwhile, there was nothing there. They made the whole story up.
Wow. So I guess the idea of consent is went out the window. They didn't get a doctor consent. I mean, so this day and age, you got to get consent to even say the word fuck sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So, wow. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Now, of course, that we know that in the workplace, it's common to form a bond or relationship with your coworker, and that turns into flirting, sex, you know, even sometimes marriage and love, right?
Yes.
You see a lot of that going on where people now. Did you see any like infidelity? Like, you know, someone's either married or has a boyfriend, girlfriend, but still has.
Me.
Go ahead.
That's me. I knew
I was.
Whoa.
No.
I met my husband at work. I met my husband working in the hospital.
I know.
And we got married.
I know. But time out, because on the Narcissist show, you said that your husband accused you of having sex on the job, and you denied those things.
But no, see, this is where I was getting at. And that was just what I was trying to say.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was going through a divorce. I filed for divorce. So I was still married. My divorce wasn't finalized. But
that don't count.
Weren't living in. Yeah. So that's
you were good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. Hang your bang all you want, baby. Rock out, cock out. You're good.
Right. But I met my husband in the hospital. Did we fool around at work? Yeah, we did sometimes. Did we? Did we see other people fooling around? Both hospitals I worked at, doctors and nurses. This is what they do. And they're married. The sex scandals, the affairs.
Full on sex or just hugging and kissing?
No, full on sex. Going in the doctor's office, bringing an ER stretcher in there, closing the door, and banging the shit out of each other in the middle of the night when there's only like 2 or 3 patients in the ER and it's slow. And you're like, "Where's Dr. So-and-so?" And I ain't saying any friggin' names. But whoever worked with me before, you know, would go in and bang a nurse or bang another doctor.
I'm blessed right now because I remember growing up in the 80s watching a lot of that Skinamax porn, and Candy Stripers was one of my favorites. That was you know, young nurses having sex with the patients and the doctors and each other and all that. That's like some of the best, like, you know, softcore porn you could watch in the world. But this shit actually happened, and I'm like, I can't imagine going to the doctor's office. He's got a bin over the table. Yeah, I'm just checking the temperature. Now, let me ask you this question: has there been any medical professionals show up with something enlarged inside of them?
No, they're smart enough because they'll go to the other hospital. Okay? Because even me, I had something embarrassing happen to me, and I went to the hospital all the way on the other side of Long Island because I wasn't going to my job. No way.
I
And
got one more for you.
Happened.
I got one more for you. I got one more question for you before we get to our next part. I got one more question. Hold on. I got to get this straight. Did the dildo show up before the patient showed up? That's all I want to know.
No, the dildo. Because the dildo was stuck.
Oh no! It came. It was along for the ride. It was
along for the ride. It was a bumpy road, though, the whole ride.
I can imagine. So we got one more piece left, and I'm curious about this scenario because I've seen it in a lot of different lifestyles or things, whatever stuff. So let's run this real quick.
Married doctor and his young nurse swept up in a passionate affair.
I immediately was branded with the scarlet letter A.
They marry. She becomes the eager wife.
She was ready to jump right in there and become the wife of a prominent surgeon.
But the doctor dies under mysterious circumstances.
What happened to David Stevens? Stephanie wanted David's money.
She thought she got away with perfect murder.
Yep.
All right. So here's my question. Okay. Since that the idea is most doctors are a certain age, okay, male or female, because they have to go to school for so long, get degrees, do internship, do all their rigmarole to get where they got to be top of the chain. Now, most affairs occur between an older doctor and a younger staff member. Is that correct?
No, not really.
No,
it's usually
really?
No, it's usually the young ones with the young ones. Or the same age group, 30s, 30s, 40s, 30 in the 30s and 40s group. I've seen more affairs go on in both hospitals I worked at in the 30 and 40-year-old group. Some 20-year-olds were banging doctors that were 50 in their 50s for the money, but they were buying them fake tits. They were buying them cars, paying for their apartments and stuff like that. So those doctors were like their sugar daddies. You know what I mean? But I work with these people.
Yeah.
But that's what they did, but they were damn good at their job. So I never saw them as a slut or anything like that. I was just, hey, you choose how you want to live. You're cool.
More
shit.
power, yeah. Praise on you, yeah. Yeah. So now in your facility, have you ever heard of a scenario where two co-workers dated for a while and something shady like that happened, like someone ended up dying because of
no,
you've
not
heard
that.
Something like that?
No, I thought you were gonna break up. I thought you were going at. I'm sorry, I thought you were going at if they were.
No, they didn't break up. I'm talking. We're talking about murder now. We're talking about because they said that this woman dated her older doctor, and she got branded as being a whore. She's like, no, I loved him and he loved her, and then next thing you know, he's dead. She's got his money, so there's a big scandal with that going on and shit like that.
Right.
Okay. Has you ever seen anything or heard of anything in your unit to where someone actually blackmails or uses someone's knowledge of something else against them for monetary gains?
Yeah, well, it's to protect themselves from their wife finding out or something, or like sexual wise, you're talking about, or
yeah. People carry on, like I said, they have affairs at work. So I guess someone either finds out about it or the person that's having the affair uses it against them.
Yes, I've seen that a bunch of times. And then what happens is they something happens and the person, there's another nurse that's jealous that has the hots for that doctor and is jealous that one's, dating them. And then when they break up, then all of a sudden they're on that doctor's dick, and then or they're trying to start shit to break them up or whatever. Like, you don't even know the drama. I used to be like, am I in friggin' nursery school half the time? But again, they saved lives and they were damn good at their jobs.
Yeah. I'm proud. Now, let me ask you this question then. In your opinion, who do you think was the most sexually active, the males or the females on the staff?
The females, the nurses, the young nurses.
Really?
Let me tell you something, Rev. They would come in where human resources. Now, I worked in two Catholic hospitals, so the management would come and tell them they have to tone it down some. They would wear too tight of a shirt, scrub top, where you could see every crease, their nipples, everything, you know. I mean, of course you guys enjoy that, but it was like, come on, that shirt's a little too tight. And, you know, and then they would wear black underwear under their white scrub pants. And that was in the company policy that you had to wear white on white. You couldn't see, you had to wear your scrubs so you couldn't see your underwear. And and then the nurses wear thongs. And so they bend down and their thongs are hanging out of their scrub pants. This is what you see all night long. But, yep. But they would purposely lean over and have their cleavage out for the doctor. They'd purposely bend over and wear tight ass scrubs where you could see their fucking pubic hair through it. You know what I'm saying? That's how tight it was. And it's like, dude, you're coming here to save a life. You're not here to strip. Like, you know, come on now, be comfortable. But
make it rain. Make it rain.
That's it. But they would. The nurses flirted with the doctors. You didn't see a nurse flirting with a nursing assistant. You didn't see a nurse flirting with a janitor or like a patient paratech
they'd be hired
or
on
security
the
guard. Yeah, they had to be higher than them, so they were the doctors. So, you know, any of us had no chance with a doctor if we wanted to, because the nurses were all over that and would squash us. You know, because I've seen that happen with my friends. You know, it's like, oh no, he's mine. Like, you know, I'm going to bend over even better in front of him than you are. So I'm going to come in tomorrow with an even tighter fucking pair of freaking pants on than you. And oh yeah. Yeah.
Get on, girl, and shake that ass. Let me see what you got. Boom, 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 boom. But now, okay, we know that the nursing field is comprised of, you know, male and females and everything. Have you ever heard or seen anything with patient nurse sexual activity?
No, not in that aspect. No.
Okay. All right. Because I feel like, I almost feel like I was cheated. Because I've only been in the ER like a handful of times in my life, and I'm like, I never got the cleavage, I never got the thong, I never got the nipple.
You didn't go to the,
now
I
look. Now, what I'm saying, but now my blessing is when I was younger, 15 years old, I used to go to a certain barber shop, right? And it was a female barber. Her favorite thing was to lean over and cut the hair, but she's always rubbing, and I put my elbows on the chair, right? Always rubbing the vagina on my elbow, and I thought it was like the awesomest thing in the world. Now I'm can't do anything about it because I'm 15, 16 years old, but I thought that was awesome. But I guess I went to the wrong ER. Even when I go to the doctors nowadays, now I got some pretty nurses that, you know, they walk through there because I'm old, I got to go get medication and blah, blah, blah. But so I see walk through there and I'm thinking, man, I wonder if they fucking, you know, I'm like, who are they fucking? What are they fucking with?
Right. See, you even think that, like, you know?
I'm a degenerate.
You're just a man.
I am. I know. Yeah, well, I'm a degenerate. Male or female, I'm just a fucking degenerate. That's all it is to it. Because I appreciate sex. I appreciate sexuality. I appreciate desires, passions, and all that stuff. But I'm not going to go put anything in my ass because I tried it. I'm like, that don't feel right. I'm like, but people do like it. Like I'm scheduled for a prostate exam. Like, I don't even want to know. It's not that I'm afraid or I don't want anybody putting the finger in my mouth. I don't care, you know. So a lot of things happen in ER, you know, saving lives, sex scandals, foreign objects. In your experience, have you ever seen anything that wasn't like kosher, if you will, like really, really bad that happened between hospital staff and patients?
Hospital staff and I have. I've seen.
So you've actually you've seen mistreatment. You've actually seen mistreatment.
Mistreatment for the patients to the staff, not the staff to the patients.
But you never seen vice versa. Really? Okay. No. Just curious. You know, just curious. All right.
No, where I worked at, I don't know. We were just like, we respected our patients, but if you were an asshole, we did it in a professional way where we could. You know what I mean? Like. You have to defend yourself somehow. You can't just, you know, let somebody, like, if somebody kicks you, you can't kick them back. But you're going to be like, okay, now you're getting 4 pointed to the stretcher. Okay, so I'm not playing. I told you, and this is what's happening now. You didn't want to listen, so that's how they would talk to them. They wouldn't be like, listen, cocksucker, you fucking do this, you fucking do that. I'm going to fucking beat the fuck out of you. Never. But, you know, okay, this is how we're going to handle it. You're getting 4 points. And guess what? you're getting out of van. You're going to get, Benadryl or something. We're going to loop your ass out and you're going to go to sleep in 2 minutes,
Let me ask you that question then. What if that was their kink? To actually go to ER and be manhandled and be tied up and given all that. What if that was actually their kink? Do you think that's a possibility?
It could be.
Well, yeah, I agree with you.
Anything. These people are crazy. If they're going to come in with, okay, we had a prostitute come in once real quick. Her name was Fantasy. Okay. She comes in and
Hold on. I bet it's the first time she ever came, though. Go ahead.
She had a glass pipe stuck up her hoo-ha. So she said.
All right.
So they had to do a gynecological exam on her. They asked her to take her clothes off and put a gown on. And she said, honey, I get paid to take my clothes off. It was like, we busted out laughing. You're in a hospital. You need an internal exam. You want us to pay you to take your clothes off because you're a stripper? Like, come on.
Wow.
Honey, I get paid to take my clothes off. Yeah.
Well, then you need to go somewhere else then, baby.
Yeah.
Baby cakes, you need to go somewhere else then because we can't help you out. You take your hoo-ha and your glass tube down the road. Kick bricks, baby. Kick bricks.
So, yeah. That's just a taste of it.
But we are running into that time. So you got anything else you want to bring out before we get out of here?
No, I'm good. That was a great show.
Yeah. I appreciate y'all coming out here, hanging out with us. Great stuff here. Now, I'm encouraging my co-host to round us up a couple other females because I got questions for females. Now, it ain't sexuality and all that stuff. I mean, it might be some triple in there, but I got questions on being a modern woman in the 21st century. I got questions because I study a lot of history, a lot of roles, if you will, but I want to not talk about ideology or the patriarchy or, whatever. I got legitimate questions because I was raised by a female. And like I said, it took 3 women to house break me. So I got questions that I like to ask, these women nowadays of what they go through. So we're going to try to work on those things. But until then, this has been a Soup Sandwich. Y'all came out, hung out with us. Don't put shit in your ass. Don't put shit in your hoo-ha and go to the ER and be like, I don't know how it got there. Be honest. If you're going to do it, I understand if you want to do those things, just be honest about it. If you're honest enough to put it in your ass, be honest about how it got there. Be truthful. Don't be like, I don't know what happened. But try to stay healthy. Try to stay safe. And we're going to catch y'all next time. Jenny, you say goodnight to the folks, and we're going to get out of here.
Take it easy, guys.
Oh, did she do it again?